Hey, welcome back to this series on the Enneagram and the Baha'i Faith, developing virtues, unlocking personality to transcend the self. So, today we're going to be jumping back into what is the Enneagram and getting much clearer about this. Remember your three questions from the last video, which are: what virtue do you feel you're strongest in? What is one simple thing if everyone in the world would just do, it would make the world a better place? And what virtue do you feel you most need to work on? We're going to be getting more into those today. So, the Enneagram, the word itself means nine-pointed symbol. And strangely enough, the Baha'i Faith also is represented by a slightly different looking nine-pointed star. And obviously, I think that's super cool, and I think maybe there's some mystical meaning to that. However, must be very, very clear, the Enneagram and the Baha'i Faith, besides me talking about both of them, have nothing to do with each other. The Enneagram is actually far older than the Baha'i Faith. In fact, we don't totally know where it came from or how it started. So it's just kind of one of those cool coincidences that they have that nine-pointed symbol in common. Though for both of them, nine represents a number of completion. It is the highest number. It contains all the numbers. It contains the 1 and the 0 that is in 10, for example. So that much you should know. And also, I am coming to you from not only having grown up with knowledge of the Enneagram and the Baha'i Faith, but also 19 years as an actor, which does not mean to be a faker. In fact, it means to be pretty clear about how humans are motivated and how our behavior and our character, our personality, is a reflection of what drives us. Our pain, our joy, what we're running towards, what we're running away from. Acting is all about, constructing the history and the inner life of your character to manifest certain behaviors. And in acting, and I mentioned this in the last video from a spiritual perspective, in acting there is an axiom that is, we are all everything, right? Sometimes nowadays it's very common for people to say they're an empath or something. I'm an empath. And I understand, some people are more empathic than others. But if you are human, you are an empath. Even if you're a sociopath, I think it's just that something is dislodged at heart. You're still an empath. We all have everything. We all have the capacity to be, the worst of the worst. And we all have the capacity to be the best of the best. So just keep that in mind, because you're going to relate to a lot of different Enneagram types because you're human. And there are no good types or bad types. They all have great qualities and they all have bad qualities, and that's part of what's so beautiful about the Enneagram, is that it really shows you how they're interconnected and how different types can help us know our red flags or know what we need to work on. So the Enneagram, it has this mystical origin. We really don't know exactly where it came from. Let me just refer to my notes for a second. And it's not on here. We know that the Enneagram was used by Sufis, and Sufis made a lot of contribution to the development of the Enneagram in written form, and it was also picked up by the Jesuits, and there's a lot of Christian-based literature on the Enneagram, and the Jesuits use the Enneagram to counsel parishioners and that sort of thing. But we really don't know where it started or where it came from, which makes it very, very fascinating, because as you will see, The Enneagram is very simple. It's easy to understand once you get the hang of it, but it's also very psychologically sound and sophisticated, and it totally correlates to Jungian theories and all kinds of other personality theories, but it really predates them. So that is pretty groovy. So the Enneagram, we're not using it as a science that begins with words and ends with words. We're actually going to use this for very practical purpose to make our lives better, and most importantly, like enrich our contribution to the world. How do you know your type? We're going to be getting into that, and I'll give you some prompts to help you figure out what your type is. Again, you can also do coaching with me on my website, JacquelineClaireArt.com. Just go to coaching. It's geared towards art and creativity, but the Enneagram's totally part of that. If you want some one-on-one time with me on Zoom or on the phone, I can talk to you and help you work out some stuff. But we'll be getting into it in this series. But it's helpful to know the Enneagram is not a horoscope. It isn't based on just how the stars were aligned when you were born. Though heredity may play a part, and there may be some degree of chance in there, it's really based on those, precognitive decisions you made based on your upbringing, like from the very, very beginning, like the environment you were born into and the personalities in that environment and the things that happen, and those very early decisions that you made in your socialization about how you were going to lead in life, how you were your best path in your milieu, in your understanding as an infant, really, infant through about a 9-year-old, that phase of life, how you were going to get reward in life and how you were going to avoid pain, how you were going to get love and how you were going to avoid censure or punishment. And this aligns with the Baha'i teachings on personality. So there are 3 sources of character. Man has the innate character, just that package that God gave you when you were born. And I think every parent or anyone who's known an infant, they do come out the gate with some pearls and some rocks that need polishing, like right off the bat. So you have innate character. You have some inherited character. It's in your DNA. And acquired character, which is really what I was describing, which is gained by education. With regard innate character, although the divine creation is purely good, yet the varieties of natural qualities in man come from the difference of degree. All are excellent, but they are more or less so according to degree, right? Aggression has its place. Like, you need aggression to have stamina, to have initiative, to be able to see things through, to move through difficulties. But obviously, like, the degree and how it's expressed is what makes the difference, whether it manifests in a good or a bad way. So all mankind possesses intelligence and capacities, but the intelligence, the capacity, and the worthiness of men different. This is evident. The variety of inherited qualities comes from strength and weakness of constitution. That is to say, when the 2 parents are weak, the children will be weak. So it's what was manifested in your environment and then how you reacted to what was manifested in your environment. If they're strong, the children will be robust. In the same way, you see this in animals and plants and stuff, like strong constitution breeds strong constitution. So the work that you do on yourself, and this here that we're engaged in, will have generational effects. whether or not you have children, but especially if you do, you pass that on, but also aunties and uncles and the people you get to just influence in your life. The more transformed and transcendent your character is, you're fulfilling your life purpose, you're making the world a brighter place while you are here, and you are influencing the world for generations to come. So it's absolutely, absolutely a worthy endeavor. So let me dive in and start showing you how the Enneagram works. This perfect circle of humanity. Baha'u'llah has drawn the circle of unity. He has made a design for the uniting of all the peoples and for the gathering of them all under the shelter of the tent of universal unity. This is the work of the divine bounty, and we must all strive with heart and soul until we have the reality of unity in our midst. So this circle represents everything. To me anyway, that's how I see it. This circle represents all of creation. This is the unity of mankind, of differing personality types, and it is also unity within ourselves. As within, so without, and that is the aim of this exercise here. So we have types 1 through 9. And again, this is not a hierarchy. 1 is not better than 9 or vice versa. They all have good and they all have bad, and we're going to be getting into that. And they all interplay with each other. But you have one dominant Enneagram type based on ultimately how you lead in the world. Okay? We're all everything, but you lead with a certain dominant set of qualities, okay? And then you have a strong influence by one of the 2 numbers next to you. For example, if you discover that you are a 2, then you have a wing, is what it's called, of either a 1 or a 3. Okay? So you are a 2 with a 1 wing, or you are a 2 with a 3 wing. You cannot be a 2 with a 6 wing. That is not how it works. Of course, we're all human. I know I keep saying that, but I just want to make that really clear because I know people are like resistant to like putting themselves in a box. And I promise you, the more we can identify the box, the more we can open up the box and let you fly away. Okay? So that is the goal here. But so you are one dominant type, and then you have a wing that is one of the numbers directly next to you. Now, it is my own personal theory that there is a great benefit in purposely thinking about that other number on the other side of you to like help empower your flight out of that box to develop, to help you transcend. That, like, doesn't it make sense that you would want 2 wings? I don't know why this isn't more explored in Enneagram literature. That's my personal Jackie theory. But for now, you are a type with a wing of one of the numbers right next to you. Okay? I am a 3 with a 4 wing. Okay? And then you will discover as we proceed through this series that based on the Enneagram, it's a star shape, right? I showed you that. These lines actually mean something. This shows the interplay between types. So your type has a known direction of health. When you are spiritually and psychologically healthy, you transcend some of the qualities of your type to move in a certain direction. It's known as your direction of integration. That's what is called in Enneagram literature. You could also say it is your level of transcendence, and you could also say it is your level of exaltation, like Baha'u'llah said. And then you also have another arrow or line coming from your number, and that is your red flag. That shows you your direction of disintegration. So when you are spiritually and psychologically not acting from a sound place, you take on the negative characteristics of another type. So remember, they all have positive and negative qualities, and you can slip below the negative qualities of your own type to go even lower to the negative qualities of another type. And you can also rise above the great qualities of your type to the greater qualities of another type. So that is how the Enneagram works. And we are going to be getting in more to the specifics in the next video.